Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner Davis.
Wow. Good evening. Good evening, April. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Brother Edward?
Fine. Where's the hat? Where's the hat you had on last week?
I had on a hat last week. I don't remember wearing a hat last week.
Oh, a week before. I was looking forward to seeing that. But anyway, yeah. So we'll get right into it. Good evening to our audience, and welcome to our program. Glad to have everybody on board. Having said that, health-wise, I'm glad to be on board too, and that's what we're going to talk about today. It's something that's new to me. I guess it's really innovative to most people. I'd say most people because I didn't know too much about it. But anyway, April, we have to talk about this evening something called salt therapy, and as part of health and wellness restoration. I got to confess that I was my neighbor down the street, Miss I won't call her name, but she may not want to call her name, but she informed me of this particular method, and she was quite satisfied, and she never knew the lady who we're going to have on the program, never knew her before, but the therapy that she went through, she's going to invite her husband. She's going to take her husband there, and so it's something that we can discuss and find out what this thing is all about. And during my conversations with our guests, I was impressed, again, because of my lack of knowledge for that. And I thought she'd be great to have on the program. And hopefully our audience will get something out of this today. And, just give us your thoughts. Welcome, get into the discussion and the conversation. Ask your questions. So, April, without further ado, I think we're expected to have Miss Fabiola Johnson. She seems eager to come on. I mean, Miss Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very well, very well. We're glad to have you on. We think that our audience needs to know about what these things that are being offered. And I'm not saying that most people don't know about you because you've been in business for a while. But I think as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. I wasn't completely aware of it. But obviously, your service must have been good to a lot of people. I hear good things about it. So tell us a little bit about yourself, about your program.
Sure. So I started Salt and Detox about 3 years ago. Prior to Salt and Detox, I became an entrepreneur, first-time entrepreneur, because when I owned, and I still do, I owned a acai bowl shop. And so the acai bowl shop is part of a small franchise called Costa Bowls. So I left my corporate world. I worked as an HR specialist, did a lot of different specialties in HR. And my last stop was employee relations. So employee relations, if for anyone that doesn't know, there's always someone behind the scenes that helps employees and managers. So, and typically that person is the person that's the go-to to help advise on many legal things. So it can be very stressful, and sometimes it weighs on you. So I am someone who is very empathetic, and I take a lot of information, and really I didn't know how to care for myself or to just simply release. So I found myself kind of going through like that burnout stage and not really realizing what I wanted to do next. I knew that I needed to have a change. I needed to take better care of myself, and didn't exactly know what that looked like. So I started researching on ways to just eat better. So I became a vegan. So that helped, and that's how I discovered Coastables. And then from there, I then started realizing I kept having a lot of aches and pains because I went from leaving my corporate world, sitting on my bum all day, to being on my feet about 12 hours a day,
Yeah.
working in the restaurant. So very different. So that's when I started to learn about other natural ways I can take care of myself because my family is Haitian, and I actually grew up there when I was a little girl. And so pretty much everything was, holistic, organic. So, and you just ate from, the fruit of the land. So I wanted to get back to that. So that's what really opened this world to me. And I learned about infrared, red light therapy, salt therapy, all natural modalities that focus on helping your body to reduce inflammation, help you to recover at a faster rate, as well as I add the calming factor because I think it's important for us to be able to recuperate and to find ways to release our stressors, because in this day and age we are just so overwhelmed and just highly, I think, engaged with everything that's around us, that it can be exhausting. So my wellness spa is a place that people can come to really just take the load off and de-stress, but most importantly focus on ways that they can help boost their immune system and manage inflammation. I'm learning this as I get older, that my body does not recover as quickly as it did when I was 20 years old. And this is due for a lot of changes that occur as we get older. We start to lose collagen, or we start to lose muscle mass. We start to, our hormones are different, and therefore our bodies do not recuperate and heal themselves the way that they used to. So we need to take additional steps in the food that we eat and other things that we do in order to help manage the inflammation that we experience and the stress that we deal with on a day to day.
Wow. If your enthusiasm is anything of the magnitude of your explanation of it, then you're good to go. Okay. So right. April, you can jump in anytime you want to jump in. Okay. Um, I did notice in one of the topics that we previewed that you wanted to discuss was some of the benefits of using your therapy. And on to our audience on the promo, there were a couple of not machines but rooms where you had these setups. Was one was in particular for me was the infrared setup.
Mhm.
And At some point, I'd like for you to kind of go over that and kind of explain how that's having a positive income on persons' well-being using your therapy.
Yeah, so the services that I offer, I'll start off by naming all of them, right? So I have halotherapy, which is dry salt therapy, which is specifically made for the respiratory system. So for people who suffer from asthma, COPD, bronchitis, allergies like seasonal allergies, or even long-term COVID, which we're finding a lot of people, still have those symptoms, which hinders them from being able to have take a deep breath, or they're short out of breath of based on their what they're doing. And so by breathing the salt, which is medical grade salt, sodium chloride, this salt is anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antifungal. It acts as a cleaning agent, and it helps the to open up the airways. It cleans some of the toxins out. It helps to absorb the moisture that sometimes is captured in the respiratory system, so that it opens up your airways and that you're breathing easier. So this is something that can be done anywhere from once a week to, depending on how severe the symptoms are, sometimes, twice a week. And then eventually you're down to doing it once a week. And then I also offer oxygen therapy, which is a natural modality. You're breathing 97% pure oxygen versus what we typically breathe, which is about 45% of oxygen and plus everything else around us. So the reason why it's important to do oxygen therapy is that, one, we're breathing a pure form of oxygen, which means that our body is recovering faster because the blood is oxygenated, which means more oxygen to your blood, more growth of your red blood cell, faster flow of the blood is happening in your body, which then jump starts that healing process and that recovery process. In addition to that, it's beneficial for your mental health and for mental focus. So for people who suffer from migraines, it's shown to be something that they can do naturally a couple of times a week, especially coupled with peppermint. Peppermint essential oil is great to help with like migraines and pains. And so if you've ever been to Vegas, Vegas have a lot of oxygen bars, on the strips. And part of it is because they want their customers to be alert, and especially the casinos. The casinos actually pump oxygen into the casinos, if you guys didn't know that, so that you can be alert and stay there longer so that you can gamble. So that is how the oxygen is able to help in terms of like getting that mental focus and clarity. And then I have infrared red light therapy. So the infrared and red light are just powerful combinations. One, the infrared by itself. So if you've ever been in a sauna, it's not a steam sauna, it's a dry heat that increases the body temperature by 1 degree. And by doing that, your body mimics as if it's going through the process of trying to heal itself, that there's some sort of infection, and so it kicks into that healing mode. And while that happens, the blood flow actually happens. It's a rapid blood flow. Your blood vessels, your veins actually widen, in which of your blood. More circulation of your blood means that you're getting a cardiovascular workout. Again, your body is healing. So that's the infrared. It's good for aches and pains. It's good for inflammation. And you're also sweating, so which is another form of detoxing your body. And detoxing the body is something that needs to be done on a regular basis. One, because we do not eat organic, and even if you do eat organic, with everything that is added to our food or our soil, it's important to find ways to detox your body on a regular basis, because it really helps your body kind of jumpstart that healing process, and you feel better after doing that. So that's one way of doing it. There are so many different ways of detoxing your body, but this is definitely an easier way to ease someone into that process if they're curious about, well, how can I detox my body? How could I start to experience the benefits of that? That's one of them. And then it's coupled with the red light therapy. And I'm sure a lot of people now these days have heard of red light therapy and are curious about, well, what does it do exactly, right? So the red light therapy, it basically mimics the mitochondrial process. That's what it starts. It starts the mitochondrial process, which is the process of energy going to your cells. Energy going to your cells mean that your cells are able to replicate themselves, and they replicate themselves. So that means healthy cells, and it's at a faster rate, and it helps your body to start to heal itself. Small tissue tears, muscle tears, by doing this on a regular basis, it actually starts to heal those tears in your body. And your body is basically, you're healing your body at a cellular level. It boosts your elasticity, the skin elasticity, the collagen, which means great for bone health, for your skin, for hair and nails. I mean, there are so many benefits to to doing the red light therapy. And then another modality that I offer is foot detoxes. So the foot detox is basically a process about 30 minutes where toxins are being pulled or being released from your body. And by doing that, it really helps to decrease the inflammation. I have a couple of clients that suffer from neuropathy. Now, I'm not saying that, it works for everyone that has neuropathy, but from my experience, because with neuropathy, individuals start to lose sensation and their nerve endings, are damaged. So my clients have noticed a difference. They've noticed a bit of sensation happening when they're doing that, because what happens is that it actually increases the circulation, so it's good for circulation of the blood, and it decreases the inflammation in the body. And again, because you're detoxing, it's boosting your immune system, so hopefully to help you fight any infections or things that you come across. Yeah. So a lot of great benefits. And I also have massage therapists here, and I'm not licensed, but I have three wonderful massage therapists that, will take care of you, which is another form of, self-care and also helping your body to detox. Yeah.
So I'd like to bring on the screen your website so that everyone can see. You can visit saltanddetoxoasis.com, and there's information on the website about the things that Ms. Johnson just mentioned. There's of course, some photos of some of the holistic wellness services that are available. Dry salt therapy, you have the benefits of that. The infrared sauna therapy, this is the infrared room, I guess you could call it, or unit that is
Yes.
used, designed for detoxifying the body. And you can also read more about the benefits of infrared sauna therapy. She just mentioned the ionic foot detox, and that particular service that you just mentioned, really does resonate with me because I have a touch of neuropathy and wondered, is there even any help for it or whatever, beyond just stretching and trying to, maintain good foot health. But there's some information here about the benefits of ionic foot detox and then the oxygen therapy that she mentioned as well. Um, the red light therapy, you can see all of the different types of services that she's mentioned, including the massage therapy. And I see that you also have Reiki and energy healing. Tell us a little bit about that.
I do. So, I think it's important for us to be open to all modalities that can help us. And that's where, for me, I believe that my spa is, a holistic wellness spa. Because so Reiki is, to make it easy, it's about moving energy in the body. And because we have chakras, and so there are seven chakras in our body, and each represent, different parts of our body. And so sometimes we don't realize that sometimes we might feel a little stuck or a little blocked. It's because of the energy flow that is happening or lack thereof. And Reiki is, I have two wonderful practitioners. They're, master Reiki practitioners, and they help to move the energy. And this can help with just helping you to obtain mental clarity, helping you to release just stress and frustrations, but also it tends to help some of my clients with some of the challenges that they have with like aches and pains. Yeah.
Okay. And
Okay, so
then
April, can you go back there a second, please?
go ahead, Brother
Yeah,
Edward.
yeah. What's on the floor? We like to advise our viewers that that's actually salt on the floor, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, so that is a picture, one angle of my salt room. So the salt that is pumped into the salt room is sodium chloride, right? So that's what makes the difference in the breathing and helping to clear out your nasal passages and all of that. But this, I do have the room decorated with salt on the floor, and then I have a salt wall. And so the reason I have that is because the salt does give out negative ions, and the negative ions actually help us to boost our dopamine levels as well as a serotonin levels. So if you've ever been into a salt room or even have a salt lamp, sometimes you might notice by turning it on that you feel a bit more calm, at ease. It's because of those negative ions that the salt is putting out in the air. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then so the last of the services that we see on the website involves sound therapy, and also another form of healing energy. So you want to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get back to the salt detox discussion.
Sure. Sound means frequencies, and different frequencies can do wonders for the mind, body, and soul. So my practitioner, Deanna, is certified sound bowl healer, and she uses different frequencies. Along with sometimes Reiki, because she's also a Reiki practitioner, to help clients, just find their zen, just relax and really feel and release a lot of maybe negative energy that they carry with them.
All right. Okay, this is wonderful. So as we kind of take a look at the different services that you have, and you've talked a lot about the benefits and how they're used. As you may not have noticed, but I did put up a banner disclaimer, encouraging our audience to make sure that they consult with their physicians before starting any new therapy outside of the doctor's orders, mainly because sometimes what sounds good for you and may be great for you, it might not be a part of the orders that doctors want you to have because of other things that they may have prescribed for you or whatever. So just wanted to let you all know that what we're introducing tonight on this broadcast is just what she described. It's holistic wellness, and it is alternative. And so if ever you wanted to explore, and I'm sure that a lot of you have probably heard of salt detox rooms, you've heard of Reiki, you've heard of sound bowls and all of that. You're getting a little lesson in it tonight. And then also we can take
Huge lesson for me.
yeah, we can take your comments and questions for Fabiola, who is the owner of this particular spa. So we do thank you tonight for sharing this great information with us. I think there's a question in the comments. What would be the initial evaluation to know what you need?
So typically what I do is I have a conversation with my client. I ask them, like, what brings you here? And so in April, I just want to say thank you for saying that, right? Because I am very honest with my clients so that they understand that I am not a medical practitioner, right? So this is, all information that I have learned, and I have become a wellness coach, a certified wellness coach. However, very different from, a medical practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, it's so I have a conversation, and that's first and foremost. I share that information, with my clients. And I explain that due to my own journey and the information that I've learned prior to opening this, that based on what they share with me, because I think it's important for them to know that, they can share as much as they want, as little as they want. And I have to be honest, I create such a calming space. Most clients want to tell me everything, and I'm like, okay, let me see how I can help you. So it's just a conversation to have a better understanding of like what's going on, what's the concern, what have they done in the past or experienced in the past, and then based on that, we make a plan as to, what next steps would look like and what services that they can experience, because not every service is for everyone. Like for example, with my halo therapy, if someone is currently going through like chemotherapy, they actually are not able to experience halo therapy while they're going through the treatment. But after that, or if they're in remission, it's fine. Whereas, for example, if someone is going through the chemo or have cancer, they can do infrared, they can do red light therapy, and some doctors who are integrative doctors that focus on everything that can help a patient, they do recommend using infrared, red light, or oxygen to to help with the additional protocols that their clients are on.
And then, you just talked about the initial evaluation. What do you think is, if there is even a typical or an average number? I'm sure it depends on the person and the severity of their condition or whatever it is that they're in need of, or whatever it is that they're dealing with that requires the therapy. But how often do you have to have sessions in order to see results?
It depends on the individual. So I'll share with you one of my very first clients. She's been with me for about 3 years now since I've opened. So she suffers from allergies, like chronic seasonal allergies, and she used to carry tissues or wake up with migraines because of the congestion. She started coming in and started doing salt therapy once a week. For her, it took as little as just one visit a week. After her second visit, she noticed a world of a difference where her nose wasn't as runny, she wasn't as congested. So with that, it depends on how your body reacts to, to the service. And sometimes it could just, like I said, it could just be one session a week, or I do have clients that need to come in 2 sessions a week. And then as they progress and there are less and less symptoms, because again, this is not a cure. Nothing that I've spoken about tonight is a cure. It's really helped to minimize the symptoms and to improve your quality of life and your mobility. So you want to pay attention to how your body is feeling after the session. What are you able to do? And then that's part of the consultative process of saying, okay, let's maybe now pull back, or maybe you need to do a little bit more.
We have another question tonight. One of our viewers asks or says, when I was in North Carolina, they said Reiki was like laying on hands in the Bible. Is that true?
Well, well, all I'm going to say to that is that Reiki is definitely a movement of energy and frequency, because we all are energy beings and frequent and have frequencies in our body. And someone who's mastered that is able to help manage and help flow, that energy, and where it's distributed evenly in our body to help us achieve that balance that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would just encourage our audience members who are, I guess, curious about it. You can do your research, but of course, sometimes you can research almost too much and get information that may or may not be true. But definitely, do some research on what Reiki is, and because there are, some, I guess, conversations about whether or not there are spiritual ties to it and all of that. And I guess, someone who has had a Reiki session before, I would say that you really have to have an open mind about it and be receptive to it. And my curiosity led me to try it. It was during a stressful time in my life. And I thought it was, rather calming, as a matter of fact. So, but that's a great question, though, because I'm sure that that's a part of conversations that people are having about, holistic wellness, and Reiki is definitely a part of that. So one of the other topics that we were going to kind of cover tonight is about the anti-inflammatory properties, and you mentioned that a little bit kind of in your intro, but let's dig into that a little bit more, because a lot of us are dealing with inflammation in our bodies, and you also kind of connected that to the things that we eat, and how, you know, everybody knows that there's, well, I won't say everybody knows, but people tend to realize that certain things that they eat will cause inflammation in the body. So let's kind of take this part from like, you know, maybe two lenses. One, what you know about food nutrition and how it impacts the body from, you know, the standpoint of inflammation. And then on the other side of that, how the therapies that you offer actually can combat inflammation in the body.
Okay.
Okay.
So inflammation is something that we all eventually experience, right? And part of it is because of how, as we do age, our body, it just takes longer for us to heal. Our body doesn't reproduce protein the way that it's supposed to. And so, which protein is really important in terms of, you know, maintaining our muscle and our bone, you know, mass. And so, learning what to eat is important as we get older, because what we ate when we were like 20, you know, or 30, it's
Mm-hmm.
very different to, you know, as we, you know, as we get older. So, paying attention to what your body tells you when you're eating something is, you know, if you automatically feel that you're getting a reaction, that's your body telling you, okay, this causes me inflammation, and maybe I shouldn't eat some, you know, whatever it is, the item. So because our body starts to doesn't reproduce as many you know, protein molecules, we need to eat more protein, period. So that means, you know, eating about 30 grams of, you know, protein, and sometimes even more, depending on what, like your diet, you know, the diet that you need to follow. It means eating more legumes, more vegetables, but also you need to be careful in terms of the vegetables that you eat. I just found out that I have a bit of arthritis. It runs in my family, and you know, and I thought I was trying to do all the good things, but somehow, you know, it's not. I've not escaped that. So I learned that there's such food as like nightshade family. So such meaning I'll give you a couple examples, like tomatoes, um, peppers, like bell
No,
peppers.
no, not
Yes,
tomatoes.
yes. When I read that, I said, you said what? I mean, I cook with bell peppers like every day. You
Wow.
know, my family loves tomatoes, but guess what? I had to say, well, that means we need to find something else, you know, to cook and to add, you know, to our way of cooking. And so so it's important to listen to your body, but I mean, and if you just follow, like, you know, the basic, um, the food, you know, charts, like eating a lot of vegetables, eating a lot of legumes, protein, that is important to our body, especially as we age, to help us maintain our muscle mass. Movement, you know, is important, you know, with that. And then sugar, staying away from sugar. And it's tricky because, you know, when you say sugar, everyone's like, oh, you know, you're thinking of like sweets and ice cream, but also being mindful of, you know, if you eat bread, right, what happens? That's also carb, but that also turns into sugar, like, you know, so you need to just take some time, you know, take a look at what you're eating and find healthier alternatives. And I think that's sometimes what's hard for individuals, because we're thinking, oh my God, I can't have chocolate cake anymore. I can't like eat bread, but there's such a thing as sourdough bread. There are, like, you know, other types of bread out there. Yes, it may not taste the same, but it still helps to, I think, you know, take care of that want that we have sometimes. But
Mhm.
it's just, if you focus on eating a lot more vegetables, a lot more legumes, less sugar. And I'm not saying not to have any sugar because I have a sweet tooth myself, which is probably why I'm suffering from like the arthritis. But I try to minimize my intake of sweets in order to help manage the inflammation. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Wow.
Brother, that one hurt me. There's
Especially the
nothing like
tomato parts.
there's
Tomato.
nothing like a nice tomato
Yes.
sliced on the side of your dinner. I just
Right.
love tomatoes.
Look, Ms. Johnson, don't let us regret having you on our program. Okay? All
I
right.
love a tomato. I'm telling you. Um,
Truth
so
hurts.
well, it does. It really does. Have to kind of we got to make adjustments as we get older. And speaking of which, recovery with aging. Let's talk about that and how salt detox can help.
Yes. So, so moving away from the inflammation, which we realize we're going to experience at some point, right? So because of that, it takes our body longer to recover. So I'll share, my example. When I go to the gym, I literally need 2 days to recover now versus, someone who is younger where they can go to the gym, the next day and feel better and be able to recoup. What I know that I need to do before I go to the gym, especially now that I have the arthritis, right? I use like a pain relief cream. I make sure that I hydrate a lot more before, I go into the gym, and hydrate again after, the gym and during the gym if I can. And then I then go into my sauna and red light therapy booth. I do about 30 to 40 minutes of the sauna because it helps to ease the aches and pains of my muscle. It helps the blood flow, which means that I'm healing faster. And sometimes, it means putting like an ice pack, where like it hurts before even going into the sauna. So it's important to create your routine and add those elements into your process. And I'm only speaking from experience because I realize as I'm getting older, I want to be able to be more mobile, and be as radiant as I am now, as my children are getting older. I'm thinking about all these things, I'm like, in 7 years, 10 years, I might become a grandma. I want to be able to run with those, my grandchildren. And with everything that I'm feeling now, I know that, okay, I need to make sure that I am on a regimen to ensure that I'm able to get to that, when that time comes. It's unfortunate if we don't take good care of our bodies by the food that we eat, if we don't add, activity and be more mobile, our body will just deteriorate. So we have to be able to learn ways that we can rejuvenate ourselves and recover. And the services that I offer here, especially the infrared, the red light therapy, is something that is going to help you with that recovery process. It's part of it. You have to put it, as part of your regimen when you exercise and you any type of physical activity, because most of us are going to feel some sort of pain, and we just have to learn to, manage it. And the more that we do this, the less pain. Not to say we're not ever going to be achy, because we're just not there anymore, but it
Right.
really helps to minimize, those aches and pains. Yeah.
Okay.
I,
All
I
right.
find it interesting, April, that and also Ms. Johnson, that and I referenced the part about oxygen therapy, and you indicated that at casinos what they do. That caught me off guard. I never heard that before. How they control the oxygen levels in order to have the outcome in their favor. In other words, keeping you there. Is that correct? For our audience who probably just tuning in, can you kind of retime that a little bit?
Yeah, so oxygen therapy is a great therapy to help you with mental focus and clarity.
Right.
So what I found in my research is that in Vegas they have a lot of oxygen bars, but also specifically there are some casinos that actually pump oxygen into their game, the gambling floor. And the reason for this is to make sure that people are alert and have energy. And the more alert and energy that you have, guess what, you're going to want to stay there even longer, especially if you're in the winning streak, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man, this is an education within itself. Thank you for that information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darlene Lewis asked us to ask you about the wellness classes.
Hi, Darlene. So um So I try to partner with other like-minded individuals in the community. This world, it just really is opened up to me in the last few years, and there's so much to learn. But what I'm also realizing is that a lot of our individuals in our this community don't know the resources that are out there for them, things that they can do, to deal with stress, ways that they can, better their eating habits. So I offer wellness classes with sometimes licensed therapists or nutritionalists, or sometimes maybe, someone who does like, Reiki, just as a form of education and just to put more information out there so people are aware of different things that they can do to help, with whatever it is that they're dealing with. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, kudos, by the way, to Mrs. Darlene Lewis, who's probably going to be taking her husband Thurman there back to you, Thurman, to the next time. So, and she shed to me, she shed the light on your place, and I thought it was worth really checking it out. So, here we go. We end up with you on the broadcast. So, in many ways, during your conversation, you've already expressed the importance of the of this program, and what and so-called and the wellness restoration, so to speak. I'm it just now the type of salt that you had on the floor, is that the color that's like the Himalayan salt?
Yes, so that is Himalayan salt. The salt actually was shipped from like, from Iran to the US because there are salt mines there, and a lot of salt spas or places that have salt rooms. That's where they get their salt from. But again, it's really for the aesthetics of it, and then it does give out the negative ions. But what really does the trick, if you're experiencing halotherapy or dry salt therapy or salt therapy, it goes by many names or variation of the name, is that sodium chloride that is pumped into the room. That's
Right.
what makes the difference. So it's just like if you've ever experienced, a day at the beach, and it's what you're breathing salty air. And normally after that visit, if you were congested, you will notice that you're no longer congested. If anything, your nose is running, you're like, oh my Lord, right? So it's because it opened up your airways and it's loosened the congestion and the buildup, in the respiratory system. So this process in 45 minutes will do this for you without having to go to the beach. I know some of us love the beach. I love the beach too. That is my happy place, but we can't always make it to the beach. So the
Mhm.
alternative is coming to my salt room and experiencing it for 45 minutes. Or even my saunas, I didn't talk about this because my saunas are a little bit different than any other saunas that are in the Myrtle Beach area. I'm able to do multi like layered modalities, meaning that I can do salt therapy, infrared, red light therapy in one sitting. So which is wonderful, especially for individuals that, are maybe on a time crunch and they're looking to really, take care of multiple concerns. And this is a way to do it. You can sit in the sauna for 30 or 45 minutes. You're getting the salt therapy, you're getting the infrared and the red light therapy. Yeah.
So with those shares that were shown in the salt zone, you obviously have to be barefoot to go through that, right?
So for the modalities, so if you're going into the salt room, typically just I ask that someone wears socks. It doesn't matter like what color socks. Originally I said white socks, but to be honest, it really doesn't matter as long as you have socks on. But if you do not have socks on, I do have booties that can be placed over your shoes or your feet. I typically recommend to clients to just just put the booties over their feet, only because it gives you the ability to really feel the salt grains, as if like you're walking on the beach, and it's more calming and you feel more grounded too. Yeah.
Right.
So, and then in the infrared red light therapy, a relaxation room. So they're individual rooms. So you're there by yourself, or you can experience it with like a friend, or, if a couple. I do provide robes for everyone. But if you want to come in, you come in on regular clothes, just something like just typically as if you were going to the gym. I do have clients that just bring in their bathing suits. They feel more comfortable just wearing their bathing suits. So definitely less is more in the sauna, because you're going to sweat. I typically start the sauna for new clients at like 105, 110. So that's the degrees that we start with, and then gradually we go up to like 115, 120, 125, 130 is really the optimal um uh, uh um temperature in order for your body to really kind of get kicking into like that mode of feeling like you're getting sick, but you're not. So but it's just helping your body to just get your blood flow going and get that process of your body healing itself. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
See, April, I noticed one of your comments. Somebody talked about the not having tomatoes, and they just had tomato, onion, and balsamic vinegar salad for dinner.
Delicious.
It is delicious, I know,
What?
but
How about eating it in moderation? Can you eat it in moderate? I guess you just have to deal with. Am I going to eat tomatoes and have an arthritic episode today, or what? I just bought a
um
tomato yesterday, brother Edward. Just bought one.
you know it's eating in moderation. So actually I'm in the process of putting together like an anti-inflammatory protocol that I'm gonna try myself. Because with arthritis, if anyone knows, like so it doesn't get better. Eventually it starts to deteriorate, and then you become bone on bone, and then there's a possible, like hip replacement in my future. No, I don't really want that at this point in time in my life. So what this means is I need to really pay attention on the foods that I eat, and I need to make adjustments. So I'm going to start by having like just kind of like a bland diet, no sugar, eat more vegetables, eat more, legumes, brown rice versus white rice, those types of things. And then I've already cut put tomatoes, like out of like my diet right now, as well as like the green peppers, as I mentioned. But I am going to eventually, after 2 weeks of doing that protocol, start to add maybe a little bit back into my diet, just to see what the reaction is going to be. And if I have a severe reaction, then I know, okay, it's a no-go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have one other question in the chat. Stephanie, thank you for watching tonight. Is there a salt rub for sore knees? So, do you carry any products that are take home, over the counter, or anything that people can buy to enjoy after their visits to the spa?
So I do carry some products, but I do not have a salt rub. Actually, that is something that I'm currently working on where I'm going to revamp some of the products that I offer. So that is something that I'm looking into in other um, rubs and things that can help clients with, with inflammation. So very good question. That is coming.
Yep, very good question. Well, Brother Edward,
Yeah,
Fabiola has shared some wonderful information with us tonight, and
we don't know
so
we don't know where she is, April.
uh,
Where
I'm
she's
sorry.
we don't know where she's located, do we?
We don't. She can tell us where she's located. And I'm also going to put up the banner if you want to visit her website to find out more about her services and more information about the benefits. You can visit www.saltanddetoxoasis.com. And Fabiola, where are you located?
So I am in the Carolina Forest area in South Carolina. So my address is 3885 Unit 103, off of Renee Drive. So for those of you who are in the area, so if you're familiar with the Kroger Shopping Center, the Plaza,
Mhm.
also Hanley's tends to be, a pretty good landmark, as well as Brewster's. I am like
Mhm.
right around there. So pretty easily accessible from like 501 or Carolina Forest Boulevard.
All right. Awesome. Well, Fabiola, thank you for being with us tonight. This was definitely a very interesting topic, and I might schedule an appointment to check out the
Yeah,
salt room the next time I'm home.
Well, I
I've had
would
that
love
salt
that.
room experience and before, and I really enjoyed it. And again, the Reiki session I've had once upon a time, but of course, just finding out about your establishment. Definitely encourage everyone, if you're interested or you're curious, again, consult your physicians before you take advantage of these services. You can always go to the website, share with them what you're interested in, and get the
absolutely.
clearance to try
Yeah,
something. But I think the introduction of holistic wellness it's a must, because once upon a time we did not have all of the medications and things that we
so
consume now for health.
that's right.
People pretty much went out into their gardens or their backyards or in the fields, and they picked what they needed, herbal. And I'm sure we were a lot more active back in the day than we are now. But now that it's kind of come full circle, and it's a must that we get back to holistic wellness and really doing things that are more natural. I think that this is definitely a great way to introduce that into your wellness plan. So thank you so much for sharing that with us tonight, Fabiola.
Thank you for having me.
Great, great, great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Brother Edward, we're going to stick around for just a few minutes. I have a couple of community announcements, but Fabiola, it was very nice to meet you and to introduce you to the WCM Live audience. And we
Right,
hope to have you back again sometime soon.
Thank you. I
absolutely.
appreciate the opportunity, and have a
Yeah,
good night, everyone.
especially
All right.
when you get that knee rub coming in, let us know.
Yeah,
Yes.
especially
I'll keep you
exactly.
posted.
All
Okay,
right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. All right, Brother Edward, that was a great topic.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Uh,
In the holistic living realm, we need to learn about it.
and I'm certainly glad that hopefully everybody tune in for the caveat that was put up there regarding consulting your doctors first before they
Mhm.
really make any great moves towards holistic, something
Right.
like that.
All right. All right. Well, I have just a couple of announcements.
Yeah,
First of all, we would like to thank all of our viewers for tuning in every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. For great topics like this, empowering information, all community. And we definitely want you all to share with us topic ideas. If you have some interesting things that you've come across, issues, people, we'd love to hear more about that. And I just want to, and I'm sure Brother Edward doesn't mind me doing this on behalf of WCM Magazine. We'd love to thank Priscilla Fuller for helping us to pull together the topic for next week, which is going to be on emergency preparedness. And we have a great lineup with some of the finest from Conway and the county, who will be talking to us about emergency preparedness, what to do in case of an emergency, natural disaster, that type of thing. And so stay tuned for that information that is going to be on our September 2nd broadcast. Also want to make mention that this weekend is the Myrtle Beach Waves of Praise. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because, of course, Reggie Dyson and Myrtle Beach Waves of Praise, they are a supporter of WCM Magazine. And this concert is free to the public. You know, anytime that there are events and happenings that are actually free to the public, we don't mind talking about them on the show. Right. And this is a phenomenal concert that happens every Labor Day weekend. And this year he has another wonderful lineup. So of course, the festival begins on Friday, August the 29th, runs through Labor Day, and it's going to be at the site of the old mall, I think. It's not going to be where it used to be.
Pavilion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's moved. And so as a matter of fact, I'm going to go to I'm going to go to my Facebook page and I'll go to the network, and there's a flyer there, but it's at 812 North Ocean Boulevard. They call it the Burroughs and Chapin Pavilion Place. So maybe that is the same. It's the same location, but nonetheless, main stage powered by Visit Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's the Myrtle Beach Waves of Praise Gospel Fest. The Dorinda Clark Cole, Tim Rogers, Anthony Brown, Damon Little, Wes Morgan. There's a really big lineup of acts and artists who will be featured the entire weekend. Well, actually August the 29th and the 30th, 6 p.m. to 4, and on the 29th, 4 p.m. on the 30th. I believe they also have vendors out there for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they have a number of vendors. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't forget your lawn chairs and don't forget your money.
Yeah, that's right.
Some good food and something cold or quenching as you listen to the great gospel concert. So that's coming up this weekend. And I am going to actually, Brother Edward, share something that kind of aligns with what we were talking about last week. In terms of the work that needs to be done to pull together a community calendar. So I just want to remind everyone that, of course, we do have the network, which we talked about last week, which is a great way for you to find out about events and happenings around the area. This is the network page on Facebook, and it is visible as far as the search is concerned. Just go to search Facebook, the network. And you can send an invitation or send a request to join this group. But on this particular page, there is tons of information about things that are happening around the area, fall revivals, any type of announcements about events and school starts. There's even a share of information that really is uplifting and empowering. I always like to put little ideas out there for everyone. There's going to be the 3D mobile mammography unit, for example, down in Bucksport. Betty Goss shared that. Thank you for being a top contributor in the network. And so if you have any type of happenings, anything that's going on in the community, and you want everybody to know about it, please make sure you post it in the network. Here's the information about the Waves of Praise that's happening this coming weekend. And there's tons of other information that you can definitely access. Here's Tiffany Andrews, who's also the president of the NAACP branch 5568 in Myrtle Beach. She's talking about the new Spectrum Serenity space that was opened, and they had a grand opening for that at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. And this Serenity Spectrum space is for individuals who may have a level of neurodivergence or any type of sensory overload experiences, and they need a place to just relax and be restored and get calm. And so this was a first of its kind in the nation. It is a vision that Tiffany had and worked with some partners to get it done for the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. And now everybody's trying to figure out how they can do it all across the country. So congratulations to Tiffany Andrews and the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. So you can find out about great things like that as well. And if you will visit the network page. You can also visit World Community Magazine for all of the postings of these broadcasts and anything else that also relates to events and happenings around the area. People are posting to the World Community Magazine page as well. I want to mention as well, there is a wonderful festival that's coming to Brook Green Gardens. Brother Edward, have you ever heard of Junkanoo?
Junkanoo? No.
Junkanoo.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, there's a Junkanoo festival that's coming. And yes, Ms. McIver, I will talk about the Atlantic Beach Gullah Geechee Festival in just a moment as well. There's a lot going on this weekend.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's talk about Junkanoo, because Junkanoo is in September. But the Atlantic Beach Gullah Geechee Festival is happening this weekend, and I believe I have some information about that as well. I'm sure that there's something that's posted on the network. Let me go there for just a second. But it kind of leans into what you were talking about last week, Brother Edward. And if you'll kind of recap a little bit while I look for this announcement about we were talking about how to put together a community calendar, and we have some resources to help us with that, but we just need to get everybody motivated to actually get information and figure out a way to make it happen.
I've always thought that since your inception that the network is the best that you can find, but we're finding a way to kind of, for lack of a better word, calendarize. Okay, kind of list what is expected next week, and oncoming events. And I got to give notice to retired Judge Aaron Butler and his wife Deborah for their input on that. I mean, they've been wanting to do something like that for the past 2 or 3 years. And
Marjorie McIver.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ms. McIver.
Mm-hmm.
McIver. Yeah.
Yes.
So we seems like now more than ever we got to make these things happen because that impacts everybody. I mean, everybody's impact either negatively or positively. Especially when people are trying to form an event and then the results in terms of attendance is impacted by the fact that there's a scheduling conflict. That doesn't have to happen, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, here's some information. Right. Here's some information about the Atlantic Beach Gullah Geechee Festival. You can go to townofatlanticbeachsc.com. That's townofatlanticbeachsc.com and learn more about the Gullah Geechee Heritage Festival. And that is happening again this weekend through the 31st. I know that they have vendors down there as well, because there was a call for vendors maybe over the past couple of weeks, and we posted some information about that in the network as well. But you can go to this page and find out all about what this festival will include, and also they have some information as well. I don't know if it's too late to become a vendor, but you see the menu here. You can get an agenda of the events. You can find out more information about the sponsors, and there's a cook-off competition. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. So you can take the time to go to both of these events. Just go ahead and plan your weekend around visiting the gospel event, but then also going down to Atlantic Beach for the Gullah Geechee event. And that is a way to celebrate Black culture, period.
Absolutely. I mean, that's it.
These festivals are for everyone. It's not just a Black thing or whatever. I know that the Myrtle Beach Waves of Praise attracts a diverse crowd, and I'm sure the Atlantic Beach Gullah Geechee Festival does as well. So yeah, this is a great way for you to find out about the heritage and the history. Check it out, Atlantic Beach, August 29th through the 31st, and then also the Myrtle Beach Waves of Praise is happening on the 29th and the 30th. So let me circle back to Junkanoo. Brook Green Gardens Junkanoo Festival is going to be Saturday, September 13th. And the closer we get to this, the more we'll talk about it. But basically what's happening is that this festival will take place at Brook Green Gardens from 11 to 3 p.m. The Junkanoo Festival features include presentations of West African, Caribbean, and Gullah Geechee heritage, African drumming and dancing, children's crafts, and mass decorating, Gullah Geechee food tastings and desserts, live Afro-Brazilian jazz, Gullah storytelling, exhibits, an artisan market, and a Junkanoo mass parade. Now, this particular offering that is actually being coordinated by Marjorie McIver involves taking a bus, so you don't have to worry about driving down to Brook Green Garden for the day.
Right.
But there would be a bus that will load at the Rivertown complex, which is, of course, the site of the old Whittemore Park Middle School on Highway 378 in Conway. Beginning at 7:30 a.m. They will order breakfast. And then dinner on your own in Georgetown. They're going to visit the Gullah Museum, the Rice Museum, and then head to the festival. So you'll get to see all those wonderful things. The dinner order will be placed at Ani's Soul Food down in Georgetown. If anybody's been to Georgetown, you know what that food is all about at Ani's. And they do have a menu so that you can take a look at it, so that you can order your food. And you will return to Conway by 5 p.m. So 7:30 to 5 p.m., a full day of activities and celebration of Junkanoo. And if you want more information about this particular trip, you can certainly be in touch with Marjorie McIver. Here's her contact information, phone number, and email address. Get in touch with her as soon as possible, because there is a cost to ride the bus. And then the payment is due by September the 7th. So more information to come, but you can get information from Marjorie McIver by giving her a call or sending her an email. And I'm sure that she will give you all the information or details that she has at that time. So anyway, Junkanoo is coming to Brook Green Gardens, Brother Edward.
Junkanoo, is this Junkan?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't think I've heard of that before, but really that sounds interesting. And congratulations and kudos to Ms. McIver for that kind of coordination. You listed a host of things that were going to be happening. You know, do I wait for the flyer, or is the flyers out already?
The flyer is not out already. I mean, I was sent this information because we needed to get some information out. Yeah. And so that's how you disseminate the information. Just send it to us and we'll read it on air when we can. But yeah, Junkanoo is a festival that's inspired by Bahamian celebration. This particular festival in Brook Green was inspired by the Bahamian festival celebration. And it highlights the rich cultural connections of the African diaspora. And so they participate in mass decorating, craft activities, again, exploring exhibits, low country trails, you name it. There's a lot of activities for that day. So it just sounds like a great way to, celebrate the heritage, and also to be a part of a celebration that actually happens in the Bahamas, down in the Bahamian Islands. So it is a national cultural festival of the Bahamas, and it originated from a celebration by enslaved Africans who used their holiday to recreate festivals from home. And so they evolved into a grand parade with elaborate, colorful costumes. And so it's just one of those festivals that actually originated during a period of African slavery, but it's turned into the type of thing that is kind of commemorating the history in that region. So thank you so much, Ms. McIver, for sending us that information. Verdell says, Verdell Beckman out of Columbia. You know, that's one of our top fans, Brother Edward. Junkanoo in the Bahamas. It was wonderful. Yeah, I bet it was. And so it's coming to Brook Green. And if you're interested in attending, and that is September the 13th, please be in touch with Ms. McIver. I'm going to put her information up again. And here it is, her phone number and her email address. Get in touch with her right away, because the payment is due by September the 7th. Yeah.
Were there any prices that you to share, or?
No prices.
No cost. Cost.
No. This is just some an overview. This is just some basic information. Okay. Yeah. But hopefully, if I'm sure that they'll have some more information by our next broadcast, and we can do an update.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh, great.
Brother Edward, that's all we have for tonight. And again, if you would like to have your event or community happening or gathering mentioned on air, please make sure to send us the information let us know all about your event, and make sure you include your contact information so that I can find out more information if we need to call you. But yeah, just got another text regarding Junkanoops. People are already like, what? Wait, hey, wait a minute. What is going on? So, Brother Edward, this is going to be big in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's already caught my interest very well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah. Well, we hope that everyone has a wonderful evening and the rest of your week. Again, next week, we will have a broadcast that features emergency preparedness from the community. And we'd like to thank the members of the city of Conway, the city administrator, Adam Emmerich, for allowing this broadcast to take place in terms of his personnel being involved with this particular broadcast, and Priscilla Fuller for coordinating with us and for us. We appreciate it so much. And again, if you have any type of topics that you'd like for us to cover, please be in touch, because we really want to bring you the topics and the information that you want to hear about. So,
and Ms. Fuller is ready to come on. I mean, she's ready to coordinate all this stuff. All right, so
it sounds like he's putting you on the hook for something, Priscilla. Well, she does a good job of helping us with city government stuff. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can't say enough about it.
Mm-hmm. So,
all right.
Yeah, but thank you, everyone. We appreciate it, and we hope that you all have a great night and a great rest of your week. Have a safe Labor Day weekend. Yeah. Remember, check out the Waves of Praise and the Anna Beach Gullah Geechee Festival.
This Friday.
Yep.
It's Friday.
All right.
Thank you, and Godspeed.
Yes.
Godspeed.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook.